It's 6:58 on a Wednesday morning, and you're standing at Pump 6 of the Speedway on Route 12, watching the total climb past $37. Your silver Corolla has 158,000 miles on it. The check engine light has been on for almost a year. A jacked-up Ram pulls in behind you. The guy driving it, Dale, sits 2 desks away from you at work. His truck payment is $650 a month. Your investment account passed $170,000 last week. Nobody at this gas station knows that, not even Dale. You could easily afford that truck. You've done the math at red lights more than once. What's harder to explain is why you don't want it. Rewind 3 years. You're 24, sleeping on a mattress still on the floor, with $214 in checking. Payday isn't until Friday. Rent is $860. Insurance is $91. After everything, you've got $214 to stretch across 11 days. Your mom calls that Sunday and asks if you're saving anything. You say you will, once things calm down. She tells you, things don't calm down. You just get used to living inside the mess. You don't think about it again for 2 years. The next Monday, on impulse, you open a brokerage account on your lunch break and fund it with $50, money meant for a haircut. Nothing changes. But the next Friday, you do it again. It's not a plan yet. It's just a number that leaves before you can talk yourself out of it. By December, the account holds $612. 2 years pass without a single turning point day. Then a $3,000 raise lands. You bump your contribution up by exactly that amount before it ever touches checking. You never see the difference, because you never let yourself see it. Dale gets a similar raise and leases a new Tundra the next week. You don't judge him for it, you just stopped rebuilding your lifestyle every time your paycheck moved. A coworker named Renata glances at your key fob one day and says, "That car doesn't know your net worth." Neither does anyone else, unless you tell them. Then she walks off. You don't think much of it, yet. The account crosses $9,200, then $18,400. None of it feels dramatic, because $120 a paycheck into an index fund isn't dramatic. Nobody claps. That's the part nobody warns you about. It's hard not because it takes willpower, but because it asks you to do something remarkable by repeating something completely unremarkable, for years, with no proof yet that it's working. By 27, the balance is $33,800. Some of that growth is money the market added on its own, quietly stacking on money that was already stacking. At 29, the account crosses $100,000 on a random Sunday morning. You feel less than you expected. That same week, the market drops 9% and your $100,000 dips to $88,000 before you stop refreshing the app. Around the same time, your Corolla starts making a noise, and a cheap Tacoma turns up for sale, $600 a month financed, easily affordable. You run one more number, $600 a month invested instead, over 15 years, turns into roughly $175,000. You keep the Corolla. The noise turns out to be a $310 sensor fix. The market recovers within months and keeps climbing. There was no wrong answer sitting in that parking lot, just 2 different versions of your life 10 years out, and only one got to happen. At 32, the account starts growing by more than your paychecks can explain. 1 year, your contributions total $8,700, the account's growth that year is $30,900. The money is working harder than you are, and it never sits in traffic. That winter the water heater dies, $1,600, paid same day without a second thought. The emergency stops feeling like an emergency. A friend named Trent leases a Range Rover and looks, from the outside, like everything success is supposed to look like. At a cookout, he mentions a slow quarter almost cost him his lease payment. You don't feel superior, just a quiet recognition that 2 people can look totally different on paper while standing on completely different ground. Renata retires that spring. On her way out, she asks if you're still driving the same car. You say yes. She just nods. At 34, you're offered a promotion, $9,000 more a year, plus longer hours and 2 extra Saturdays a month. You sit with it for 4 days, then turn it down. Your portfolio, at $405,000, is already generating close to $23,000 a year on its own. The 2 Saturdays are worth more to you than the raise. Freedom doesn't arrive as a windfall. It shows up as an ordinary Tuesday where you say no to something reasonable, for reasons that would have sounded absurd 5 years earlier. Your girlfriend, Priya, finally learns the real number and asks why you still drive that car. You tell her it stopped being about money, it became a boundary, proof you get to decide what your life looks like. She gets it fully 3 months later, when her hours are cut and a bad month doesn't turn into a crisis, because your accounts can absorb the gap. At 36, the portfolio crosses $685,000. You stop telling people things are going well, because some people can't quite hear it when you do. An old friend reaches out after a layoff, and you quietly help an amount that would have felt impossible at 24. But something in the friendship shifts afterward. Dale asks how you stay so relaxed about money, and you don't have a tidy answer. You think about Renata's words again: the car doesn't know your net worth, and neither does anyone else unless you tell them. The cost of this life isn't danger or misery, it's a small, quiet distance between the life you're actually living and the life people assume you're living. You wouldn't trade it back. It's 6:58 on a Wednesday morning again, years later, pump 6 at the Speedway. Gas costs more now, and so does everything else, but the Corolla is still the Corolla. Someone like Dale is in the lot, in a truck just like his, and you don't feel the old flicker of comparison, because the question it used to ask, "Can I afford that?" got answered long ago and stopped being interesting. Your portfolio is worth more than most houses on the street you grew up on. Nobody here knows that, including the version of you standing at this pump, who still just feels like someone getting gas before work. You chose being wealthy over looking wealthy. No luxury car, no announcement, just a 15-year habit of $50, repeated until the math changed, then repeated a while longer, because by then it wasn't a decision anymore. It was just who you'd become. If this changed how you think about looking rich versus being rich, hit like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, would you have bought the truck or kept the old car? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.